The episode we've all been waiting for. Summer ups make me feel fine, and this is What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks Daily Fantasy Sports, made easy. My name is Pete Blackburn. That is Sean DePaz, and over there is DJ Bean. I fuck around. DJ, Sean, Pete. Hi, boys.
Hello. I saw a YouTube comment the other day that was like, nobody caught that DJ identified himself as Pete.
I did that that was borderline like a by accident. I'm so used to just doing different names that I was like, this might be a lot of people's first time listening to the show. So,
I do expect if you ever call Pete Sean, you have to salute. Like, I
fair.
wasn't going to salute when he called me Pete.
DJ, I'd be too afraid to do it with my right hand. I salute with my right hand.
I usually don't do the salute on camera, so sometimes I do it and I correct myself.
But. Well, I am DJ. That is Peter. That handsome man is Sean. And Sean, I must first compliment your digs because your producer station is looking just unbelievable. Thanks to Arda Ocal, who
Beauty is
sent
in the eye of the beholder.
Buffalo Bills Stanley Cup champions banner.
Which, like, apparently has become a staple around Buffalo sports bars. I was surprised that you didn't know that.
I mean, I haven't been in many Buffalo sports bars recently.
That's true. But you do go back to Buffalo. But I guess when you go back to Buffalo, you just hang out with family and
More
stuff.
or less, yeah.
Yeah. I think that I went to Buffalo like 2 or 3 years ago, and we went to like a brewery in downtown that was incredible. I forget the name of it. Sorry. But
Big
they
Ditch?
had one of those. What?
Was it Big Ditch by any chance?
No.
Or Resurgence?
I don't think so.
I don't know. There's just a couple of the big
But
ones.
they had one of those, and I was like, I fucking need one of those. I thought that it was like a one-off, but apparently it's in mass production. Shout out to Arda Ocal for hooking us up. Said, we just need somebody to send us one of these, and then like 3 days later had one.
It is very Buffalo. It's very like Buffalo fans are self-deprecating. So if I understand why Buffalo people do it, I don't like being made fun of with it.
It's one of those like I can say it, you can't say
exactly.
it kind of thing.
100%.
Well, it is September 4th, Wednesday in the United States and Canada. We are live. This is a great live episode of What Chaos. We're still doing the weekly things for now in the summer, but we're getting back to daily episodes very soon. Make sure you press subscribe if you have not yet and you are watching on YouTube or wherever you happen to be listening. We do love when people subscribe on YouTube and watch us there because you get to see this lovely set and all the things we have. Of course, our set is a little different this week as we are paying tribute to the late great Johnny Gaudreau. Loaded episode today. We've got Bob Stauffer. We'll toss to that in just a few minutes. And then Cody Ceci, who we have wanted since the second he became a Shark.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe even before that.
I mean, just an important part of this show. I could tell in the conversation that he probably didn't know that he was important to us.
Well, you started the interview
with,
we talk about you all the time, which we bring up in the interview.
We do.
Like, it's a very tough thing to say as the first thing that you say to somebody that you're just meeting. I talk about you all the time.
Especially somebody like
Ceci.
Cody. Well, especially like Cody Ceci, because as he also suggested at the beginning of the interview, he's like, it goes both ways sometimes.
Yeah, it's going to put him on alert.
Did he plug in right away?
Like into the, like, did
he join our world immediately?
Oh, yeah, he committed to the bit for sure.
Interesting. Wonder if I know what I'm doing, boys.
I mean, I didn't work on some other people, so
we didn't try it on some other people.
Fair.
I would argue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cody Ceci though, like never had a doubt in my mind that he was gonna join our world because from all accounts that guy rocks. Leon Draisaitl loves him, so why weren't we ever gonna love him?
Yeah, he's coming up in a little. Let's talk about Leon Draisaitl. The biggest news of the day yesterday. The Oilers announce 8 years, $112 million. And this was going to be the thing that hung over the upcoming season, next offseason. Where's Leon Draisaitl going to go? It's easy because he plays on a team with Connor McDavid that you can be like, this isn't the biggest domino in the world. It was going to be the biggest domino of roster construction for next year. And now he stays in Edmonton on a huge deal. And the fun of where's Leon Draisaitl going to go is now over. And I'll tell you what, that's fun to me.
Yeah, I
that
know.
was never going to be fun for me.
I was gonna say, like, from my perspective, I'm not the oil boy on this podcast. I do like the Oilers, but from like a neutral standpoint, I am a little bit sad that we're gonna lose like the price is going up every time he scores a goal. But like even when Pastrnak wasn't signing, and I didn't have a lot of worries that he wasn't gonna sign, every goal that he scored, I was like, fuck, sign him now, sign him tomorrow, sign him right after the game. So I am a little bit sad that we're losing that drama from a neutral standpoint. Very happy. Congratulations to the Oilers and their fans that you no longer have to worry about that. And like we'll get into this with Bob, but now I don't even think you have to worry about McDavid either.
Oh yeah, that's over as well. I'm thrilled. I don't worry about how big a contract it is. It was going to cost an absolute ton to keep Leon Draisaitl, and he now has the highest AAV. Whatever, that's all fine. Do you know who the biggest free agent now, the centerpiece of the drama for next offseason now becomes?
No.
It's the best. Mitch
Cody
Marner.
Ceci? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, Cody Ceci also is in a walk year. But now we need to, whatever we were going to do with Leon Draisaitl, we must now do with Mitch Marner. Everything that happens, be like, ooh, better sign him now, Leafs.
Yeah. I don't know though, because it's like not even gonna be fun with Marner, because I feel like half of Toronto is just like, all right, cool, get the fuck out of here. Like they don't, half of that fan base doesn't even want to keep him.
That's what makes this so fun. That's going to be, but I also like Mitch Marner. I legitimately want to be happy.
Yes,
and
or at least okay.
Yes, so I want him to get out of there anyway. We could do it with Shesterkin instead, or Ullmark, or
you think Paul Marner's looking at the Leon Draisaitl deal and being like rubbing his hands together and being like, we're not getting anything less than 14.5.
To that, I would say, sir, are you cold? Why are you rubbing your hands together? What could this possibly have to do with you?
That's so mean.
What does
fair?
I mean,
but it's fair.
No offense. I love my Panthers fans, but I saw some like, whoa, and we were able to get Reinhart for $8.6 million. Yeah, it's almost like Leon Draisaitl is like 1.5 times as good as Sam Reinhart, who's fucking awesome. So look, fans are we're always gonna, especially I do it with the Oilers, we're gonna say outlandish things and crazy things. But if a guy gets a lot more money than everybody else, in a lot of cases, it's because he's a lot better than everybody else. And Panthers fans definitely get to have the last laugh right now because Barkov neutralized an injured Leon Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the Oilers and you're their fans, you are thrilled. $14 million a year, fine. Are you going to be paying $50 million to 4 guys in a couple of years? Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't worry about that either, because what's the fucking alternative?
Yeah, exactly. And I did see Elliot Friedman raised a good point after the Draisaitl signing when somebody asked him about, like, how is this going to compare to like the Blackhawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs and kind of committing that much money to a few players in the core. And he raised a good point that I don't think about often, is that the Leafs got burned by the pandemic and the cap not going up. Like they were planning on the cap going up and having that be less of an impact on their roster construction. With the flat cap staying that way, really fucked Toronto based off of the way that they were planning on building that team. So Oilers probably, hopefully, won't have that sort of obstacle when it comes to Leon and Connor making like $1 bajillion, and then you throw in Nurse and Bouchard. Like there's going to be ways around it.
My only thing with all of the big four and all, like Darnell Nurse having a better, what's that?
We all know he's overpaid.
Right, but him having a better next few years will make that feel better. Also, Matthias Ekholm makes $6 million a year. Zach Hyman makes $5.5 million a year. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins makes what, like $5.1 million a year. So when you do the how can you win when this many people make this much money, the answer is to have other people be underpaid. And at least they have that going for them.
Entry-level contracts.
But it's not going to be easy, obviously. But again, would you rather not have Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? It's a very good thing if you're an Oilers fan. Very happy for all my Edmonton people. And it means that we will probably be hanging out with Bob Stauffer, radio color man for the Oilers on 630 Ched and host of Oilers Now quite a bit more. Here's our conversation that we just taped with Bob Stauffer on this extension. Bob, we were going to give you a break at some point, and we were maybe going to go 18 seconds without talking Oilers, but Pete and I were texting about it the other week. We were like, at some point, Draisaitl's going to sign, and we're going to have some big Draisaitl extravaganza. Here we are. Here you are. Throughout last season, you never really had much of a worry that this was going to happen. He signs 8 years, $112 million. Why were you so confident, it proved to be prescient, that Leon was always going to be back?
Because, DJ, I believe that Leon is dug in on the ice. He's proven that in the course of the playoffs the last 3 years, playing over, through the injuries that he's had and being as productive as he has. And I know that he's just dug in off the ice. He cares about his team. He cares about the organization. And when your top guys are all in the way Connor and Leon are, there was a famous book a number of years ago written by a guy by the name of Peter Zosky. He used to host CBC Morningside, and he followed the Edmonton Oilers in their embryonic stages of development in the early 1980s. And he talked about Wayne Gretzky, and he used the term osmosis. Every day, the guys got to practice, that younger generation of players, Mark Messier, Glenn Anderson, Yari Curry, Paul Coffey, Kevin Lowe. Those guys got to practice on a daily basis with Wayne Gretzky. And through osmosis, they were going to get better. And the reality was the pace of the tempo and practice for the Oilers was at times, especially relative to the era, maybe better than some of the pace and tempo that teams played with in games. And Wayne, through osmosis, set the standard and made everybody better. And that team practiced every day, which was no easy feat given the travel situations. The Oilers weren't flying charter back then, et cetera. And I just relate that to today. You got, this two-headed offensive monster with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and they will the rest of the team around them. Connor leads drills, Leon leads drills. And you guys have watched the playoffs. Like 2 years ago, I remember watching Pete and Frank Saravalli talking about that Calgary series. What'd you call it again? The cocaine circus.
Yeah.
And Leon was playing with a broken ankle, like a high ankle sprain. And he kept on going out there. This year in the playoffs, he had 2 injuries, which he would not talk about. We believe one was a back/core issue he suffered against Vancouver. And then at some point he suffered a wrist/hand injury, and he played through them. And those guys are both super dug in. They're committed. And yeah, I didn't waver. I believe there was always a pathway, DJ, to getting a deal done for Draisaitl and Edmonton.
Obviously, yesterday, big day of celebration, and everybody's glad that he's sticking around for 8 more years. What did you feel about the number? Did you feel it was right? You feel it was fair? You feel like they're in a good position moving forward with 14 per?
Yeah, Pete, it's interesting. I don't worry about the number. We had Leon on our show, then we had Stan Bow, and then we had Mike Liut, who helped negotiate the deal for Octagon. And I think, and I discussed this, and I asked this question of Stan during the availability and again on the show, and I asked Mike the question. I believe that the cap is going to see, when Stan negotiated those 2 deals for Taves and Kane, at that time, the revenues were trying to catch up to the cap. We had a 5% inflator each year. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and stagnated the cap, and we ended up with huge escrow. And now the escrow has been all but eliminated, or the amount that the players have to give back to the owners. And I think we could see some barring, a real crappy geopolitical situation, I think we could see some significant growth in the cap over the next 2 to 3 years. So maybe call me the eternal optimist, but I think that contract will be fine relative to the percentage of the cap that it's going to take. And that's the cost of doing business. You want a player that good, he's going to cost it. And really, like when Matthews signed his deal at 13.25, and it's a 4-year deal, like Austin's going to get another big deal after that. That 13.25 1 year later is 13.9.
Not to mention Draisaitl's been one of the best deals in the league on this last contract. So at some point you got to pay the guy.
Yeah, right. Like, I remember when he signed that 8-year deal at $8.5 million, some of the smartest guys at Edmonton that are all over the analytics stuff were all over Edmonton for blowing they're like, you guys, what are you doing? And he just killed it. He had, 5 100-point seasons. Would have had a 6 if we had, we had a full year in 2021. And he had 3 50-goal seasons. And then he's even better in the playoffs. So, a player that good, you pay him. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I remember that deal at the time, and I was a Peter Chiarelli apologist, but everyone hated that deal. And every time that summer, I forget what negotiation was going on in Boston. It must have been Pasternak. I kept pointing to the Draisaitl deal as a good thing to aspire. Like, you know what? Just like give him a higher AAV and try to go 8 years with him. And everybody was like, the Draisaitl deal is stupid. You shouldn't do that. He hasn't done anything yet. And then bang, I think 105 points the next season. What an absolute stud. On the thing of, and I don't begrudge people for doing the SpongeBob font. Can you win if you're paying 4 guys that much money? Because between he and Bouchard and McDavid and Nurse, they're probably for about 5 years going to be making more than $50 million against the cap. As you noted, like, do you want that good player or not? Like, what's the so what are you supposed to do? Say, okay, you know what? We're going to actually let Leon Draisaitl walk because we don't like Darnell Nurse's number. You have to sign players when you have them that good. And for as high a number as 14 is, it's the highest AAV in the league. If he waited a year and went to free agency, I don't know who could have made the space for it, but he would have gotten more than 14 million. So I don't think that you can't win with that many guys making that much money thing really holds up. But what is true is Stan Bowman's job is a lot harder. And now Leon, he said he doesn't feel pressure. He feels responsibility. He and Connor do have responsibility now to win, because the way you supplement a high-paid top of your roster is to get guys to come for $3 million, $2 million when they can be making more elsewhere.
Yeah, because you got a good team. But you know what, DJ, I'll take it. There's another factor in here. Edmonton has, had the privilege, the fans here of, and this predates you guys a little, and it's a compliment for me to say that to you. But the reality is the team of the 1980s was the most explosive, electrifying, entertaining team we've ever seen in NHL history. And their key pieces basically got sold off. Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier were sold off. And then it became just a battle to survive in Edmonton in the 1990s, the back half of the 1990s. And then they couldn't do things like pay Bill Guerin and Doug Waite what they were worth. So they traded, Guerin to Boston, and Doug Waite ended up going to St. Louis. And those ended up being talent buydowns in the end because they had to do package deals and bet on young prospects that didn't have the ceiling of a Waite or Guerin. And I will tell you that when Daryl Cates was pursuing the Edmonton Oilers, and it would have been in January of 2008, I had Wayne Gretzky on our show. And Wayne was the coach at that time of the Phoenix Coyotes. And I caught him the day before a game. And I said, Wayne, there's concern here in oil country because the Edmonton Investors Group, who did an awesome job and helped keep the team in Edmonton, and Cal Nichols saved the team not once, but twice, once with a season ticket push, and then once put together an ownership group. The fans have more comfort in that than they do in an individual owner because, Peter Pocklington basically sold you to LA and Mark Messier was sold to the New York Rangers. And Wayne said, well, that's not going to happen if Daryl Cates gets the Oilers. He's going to retain his best players. And since then, in the old system, when Edmonton got Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in back-to-back years, the max term length coming out of an entry-level deal was 7 years. And that's what the extensions were for Taylor and Nuge. And then, Connor and Leon and Connor come aboard, and the max term length is 8 years. And the Oilers signed those guys each to 8-year extensions. Nurse, for all the criticism of the price point, 8-year extension. Nuge does a second 8-year extension, and now Draisaitl does a second 8-year extension. And for a market like Edmonton that's gone through, some of the fans still have, I don't like using the term PTSD, but they still have some emotional memory from when the top players were leaving a Canadian team like Edmonton. It just reinforces how important it was that, Leon committed, because he could, in theory, end up playing, 19 seasons with the Edmonton Oilers, his entire career. That's a commitment on his part, too. And it's a commitment to the fan base as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pete's going to ask about McDavid, but I'll just say I want to bring this up at some point. This is off the ice the biggest moment for the franchise since 2015 winning the lottery, because you essentially get a top 5, 4, 3, 2 player who could go to UFA to say, Edmonton, this is where I want to be, and
as long as I can be, which is an important part. Like, and obviously this begs the question about Connor McDavid. He's next. They got to keep him. Where do you stand on, like, percentage wise, or how much this helps the McDavid case? And if they keep him, what the fuck is that number going to look like?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the number. You pay him what he wants because he's that good, because he's the best player in the league. Yesterday, Frank Cervelli was on Oilers Now, and he last season, I think he stated it was better than a 95% chance the Oilers got both Draisaitl and McDavid extended. And yesterday he said he's increasing the McDavid extension to 100% chance. So, those are positive odds from Frank. I think it greatly increases the probability that Connor will sign another extension with Edmonton. I mean, come on, man. You guys know they've obviously talked about it. Let's not forget that Stan Bowman's boss is Jeff Jackson, and Jeff Jackson represented both Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard. So, he's got a lot of history with the guys at Wasserman. Judd Moldaver is representing Connor, and I think Dave Gagne, Sam Gagne's dad, represents Bouchard. So take it for what it's worth, but they would have history in knowing how to negotiate with the respective agencies involved.
Do you think that there's any chance that Leon Draisaitl signs an 8-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers, thinking that there's a chance that Connor McDavid isn't far behind?
What do you think the answer is to that, Pete?
I think it's probably no.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on Oilers Now and confided in you, Bob, that McDavid, and this is not a surprise at all, but every player has their circle when they go through these sorts of things. Yeah. And McDavid obviously was in his circle. So there's some, I don't know if bias is the right word, but there's a little inside information of, like, if Connor McDavid is part of the circle that's saying, I'm thinking Edmonton is the spot. I'm thinking you got a good thing here. You should stay here. Yeah. He'd be a real you-know-what if then the next summer McDavid was like, you know what? I'm going to take a beat. I'm going to think this over.
I mean, I don't like sharing too much that happens because we're privileged to be in our role on the broadcasting games and being on the plane. And I actually couldn't even watch the NHL does a great job encapsulating, the respectives. They do like a series summary, and I couldn't watch the one with Florida for about 3 weeks. And then the Oilers through Oilers Plus put out a video in the aftermath of the loss against Florida in Game 7. And, Connor didn't go out it was Florida's moment on the ice. They'd won the Stanley Cup. I'm sure that's going to be a driver, and it's a realization how close they were. The roller coaster of what occurred last year, a 2-9-1 start, and then pulling off 8 and 16 game winning streaks and winning 24 out of 27 games. And then down in the series 2-1 and 3-2 to Vancouver, down 2-1 to Dallas, down 3-0 to Florida. The resiliency that those players showed and the belief that anything was possible, and they've got virtually the entire core group back, I think bodes well for an opportunity to I think they'll play minimum 6 playoff series in the next 2 years. And McDavid's, at his current, on his current salary for the next 2 years, even though he can be extended July 1st next year. So, guys, there's room for this team to improve, and it's going to be incumbent upon Stan Bowman and Jeff to build some supplemental pieces around that group and be relentless in trying to improve the roster as the season goes on.
Yeah, we were texting yesterday after this went down, and I was like, damn, Bob, we're going to be seeing a lot of each other. You're going to be having a lot of 10-month work years. It's because they're going to be making And
Yeah.
Leon was on with you yesterday, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know."
Yeah, well, I mean, I came back. Yes, you know what? I did 49 out of 50 weeks from September until the middle of August, and I looked at it when I was out on the West Coast for a couple days, and I'm going to go from September the 2nd straight through until July the 4th. That's
Isn't
my
that the
expectation.
best? Isn't
Yeah,
it
it
the
is.
best?
Because
It's
The
the
off
best.
season
this
after
is
a
what
little
you
bit.
live. This is
Yeah.
what you live for, right? Like,
It's the
yeah.
best.
We've been doing this one a week thing, Sean. We haven't told you this, but Pete and I were hanging out over the weekend. We were like, let's just start going to 2 a week in the off season. Like this 1 a week, hockey's not really
sucks.
happening thing. It's good for like 2 weeks, and that's for the fucking birds because we want to just do this shit, and it's so great talking to you. I did want to sneak in one last thing on Leon. I was telling these guys one of my favorite parts of covering a team, which I don't do anymore, is when there's a press conference and the player is very respectful of the assembled media, and then maybe they'll do a one-on-one or two, and if you're lucky, you'll be one of the people with whom the player does it, and they relax a little bit. They're a little happier to be speaking to somebody they know. That's what happened when I listened to Leon with you yesterday. The respect that you two have for each other is amazing. You've always spoken so highly of him, not on camera. Like you really, really do like the guy a lot. And we've seen from whether it was when you were skating or whatever, this man who does not suffer fools really, really has a lot of respect for you. So can you just give us a second on the relationship that you two have? Because you obviously have spent a lot of time together now.
Well, it started before he ever was an Oiler, right? Like he played for the Prince Albert Raiders. He was coached by Corey Clouston. I'm so old, I broadcast Corey Clouston's games at the U of A too. I used to, and at that time, I used to do the 3-on-3 skates with the Golden Bear players. After when they went into their Christmas break, when they stopped playing in early December, and at the end of the season, when their season was over. And I remember Corey telling me, Bob, this guy's going to be way better than people think. And I'm like, well, I think he's going to be pretty good. So Prince Albert played Edmonton that year in the WHL playoffs. I probably talked to Leon 3 or 4 times. I talked to him after every game. I had made up my mind when the Oilers ended up after the lottery that year in 2014, the 3rd overall pick. I desperately wanted to see Draisaitl be an Oiler. Like he was just the right guy. And talked to him multiple times before the draft. We spoke a couple times. He had this is 6 degrees of separation stuff. So he was coached by Corey Clouston in Prince Albert, who I knew. Corey had previously coached the Ottawa Senators, as you guys know. And then the head scout for the Oilers was Stu McGregor, and that was my midget AA coach with the Southside Athletic Club. I knew what they were going to ask Leon. Maybe Leon got a bit of a pre-scout on the dinner, but he wanted to be an Oiler. At that time, Nugent Hopkins had been the number 1 pick in 2011, and he wanted to be part of that group of Nugent Hopkins. This predates Connor by a year. And I will tell you that you could make an argument even in that first year in 14-15 when he went back to junior and ended up in Kelowna and was the MVP of the Memorial Cup that year, that he was just starting to turn the corner when they sent him down halfway through the season. I wasn't pleased when they sent him down at the start of the 15-16 season. I had an animated discussion with Pete Chiarelli and Scott Housen, who at that time was sort of the number 2 with Craig McTavish, because Chiarelli had come in, and I just said, this guy's been no worse than our 2nd or 3rd best player. Well, he needs to start the year in the minors. And the Oilers had a couple little injuries along the way, and then Leon comes up and had a 50-point season and partnered really well with Taylor Hall. So I always believed in him. I always believed that he was going to be way better than people thought, but even I didn't think he'd be this good. Like seriously, like I thought he could be like a 27-goal, 80-point guy, which he got to in 16-17. But you know what? When people are committed and they have relentless drive and work ethic, they can achieve anything. And that's what he's got, is he's never stopped. The biggest part of his game that's underrated is his skating. Like he can be an explosive skater. Obviously, he can protect the puck. He's as good as anybody in the league on his forehand or backhand, creating plays. He's always, he's developed that one-timer. The joke is he's the best shooting 50 goals or best passing 50 goal scorer in the league. But, and he doesn't sweat fools. Yeah, it's true. And here, I mean, there's a couple more. Like his dad coached a guy named Ben Thompson who played at the University of Alberta with Chris Knobloch. In fact, they played on the same line in the 04 Nationals that year, and I was the SID at the school. And Ben Thompson wore number 29, playing for Ravensburg in the German league for Peter Draisaitl. And Ben was the guy that stayed on the ice with Leon when he was like 12, 13, 14 and worked on skills. And that's part of the reason why Draisaitl adopted the number 29. So there's so many sort of unique. Do you ever just think sometimes, guys, it's fate? Like, do you ever just think he was meant to be in Edmonton, given, Coach Clouston, Ben Thompson, an impact guy for him as a kid? He clearly wanted to come to Edmonton. And I'm just saying, and Sam Reinhart's a great player, but he didn't become a great player until he went to Florida. He was a good player at Buffalo. And the Oilers got lucky when the Sabres, they drafted 5 Europeans in the first round of the 3 previous years. So I understand why Tim Murray took a Reinhart at that time, who also was coached by Chris Knobloch in Kootenay. But Edmonton won the lottery in back-to-back years. They won the lottery. The gods smiled upon the organization in 2015, but as it turned out, they won the lottery in 2014 as well when Draisaitl dropped to 3.
How could you ask us if we ever think anything is fate? We were merely going up a couple floors in Vegas one day when we stumbled onto an elevator with Bob fucking Stauffer, and now you're the only person we talk to. Of course we believe in fate.
For real.
You are the absolute best. Last thing we need to do is...
Hey, Cody, did you have Cody Ceci on?
I was going to say Cody Ceci says hello.
What a great guy, and a good friend of Leon's. Strictly a victim of, he's a cap casualty. That's all it. You know what? He was a very serviceable player. The 3 years, he was a plus player every year. And they just needed to relieve a little bit of cap space to give themselves more flexibility. They got Emerson back. Real good guy, smart guy. His dad, as you know, I have an affinity for college football. His dad won a Vanier Cup. At one time had the longest reception in U Sports history in the Vanier Cup, which is like our version of the national championship game. So his dad was a good athlete and a good guy. And it's, back to 6 degrees of separation. There was a belief at one time that Pete Chiarelli offered Taylor Hall straight up for Cody Ceci when Ceci was developing as a, he played with the 67s for 4 years, got traded at the deadline that year in the OHL, and then ended up with the Senators and did have a double-digit goal season. But he scored a couple pretty big games, 7 goals. He was a rock solid guy, smart guy, and I'm going to miss him a bit. He was a really good dude to be around.
Bob, you are the greatest. We always love talking to you.
Well, I've often said to you, anytime you're stuck and can't get somebody better out of Edmonton, you should feel free to reach out.
You're the best.
We reach out to you so regularly. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure, because the Oilers can't stop doing things.
All right, looking forward to it. See you, fellas.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wild. Peter Chiarelli offered Taylor Hall for Cody Ceci, or wanted to do something at Taylor Hall for Cody Ceci. Cody Ceci famously ended up being the Adam Larson replacement.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And
it's all connected.
And something that you'll hear in the interview coming up with Cody Ceci, there's a connection between Cody Ceci and Taylor Hall even further.
Do I remember what it is? Oh yeah, there is, Sean.
I'm trying not trying to spoil, but we got some breaking news coming. On the Cody Ceci front.
Yes.
It is going to be live, not live, but you'll hear it for the first time, as will the world.
What does live even mean?
It's all a concept.
Live is just new. Like back in the day, you watch an episode of Friends, it's live. No one's ever seen that before. It's new.
Not sure how that works.
Been doing a Seinfeld rewatch.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
But it's live.
If I hadn't, that shit's live.
You're like, I mean, that shit is live based off of the other definition.
Like, damn, Jerry, you wearing those 1989 ass clothes? It's 2024.
You should start all of these episodes with taped in front of a live studio audience.
Oh, yes.
Exactly. It's
I
not.
think we
It's
would
not
need to
untrue.
bring in like a
single
fourth
person. Yeah.
Like it's like a marriage. You have to have a witness. Like you can't be the witness.
Yeah, that's fair.
A live studio audience. We got to have one person here.
Bring in one of our pets.
Yes.
Nothing says it has to be a person to be an
That's true.
audience.
Shout out Bob Stauffer. He's the greatest. Shout out Foco, because Foco has been a centerpiece, literally, of our set design. We've got a Leon bobblehead, which we are always going to have. We have a Sharky bobblehead there for Cody Ceci. Any little thought we've had of how to, this could be a fun thing, there's a Foco for that.
Mhm.
There is a Foco item for that. And you just go on their website, peruse any of your interests. You're probably going to find a really fun, entertaining, cool, cute, whatever it may be, little piece. And
I don't think that's like a tagline of theirs, but it should be.
There's a Foco for that?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, what was it? There's an app for that was what I was doing. Remember
Yeah.
that?
What? What
There's
is
an
that
app
from?
for that.
I do, but I can't.
I believe it was Apple.
Oh, okay.
Like there's like an app for that.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, it was an iPhone 3G
Damn.
commercial.
wow.
Boy,
What are we now? Like 9G?
What? No, like 5G
I'm
is
kidding.
the highest,
It's
right?
five. It's five. It's
I
five.
thought you were
But-
saying what the iPhone was.
Oh,
The iPhone's
the
like
commercials from
16, right?
2009.
2009. They said that there's an app for that.
Yeah, but it might have I'm just looking based on when the YouTube videos were posted.
But 2024, I said there's a Foco for that.
That's
That's
right.
live.
That's live. Yeah.
That's
That is indeed
that's
live.
the live stuff. And we've got. I look around. We've got a ton of Foco pieces because they're just incredible. And as I said, it's not just figurines or dolls or bobbleheads. There's also hats, hoodies, signs. Going to a basketball or a hockey game, you can toss on a friendship bracelet. We got friendship bracelets. We gave one to Travis Kelce famously. That was from Foco. They make everything. Behind me, I got the stinger head thing. Foco. It's incredible. They're the best, and I hope that if you are a sports fan, you check out Foco and spice up your place, your car, your hands, your head. Go to foco.com for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHAOS10, and you will get 10% off. Right now, I got a cart with quite a few things, and I just may be hammering 10% off. Thanks
I got
to
a question.
Foco.
Does Foco carry? Do these exist? You know those like little dashboard hula things? They should have those for fucking like bobbleheads or like
Ooh.
hockey players.
Well, just for Jake Wallman.
You just grease
Grease.
your car all fucking day.
Yeah,
That shit would be so
that's how
annoying.
Jake Wallman gritties.
Ooh, Foco. I'm looking at Foco's website. They have some pretty sick hats. I didn't really know they were in the hat game like that.
So what I'll say about Foco is they have a lot more than you would think they would, but not to the point where it's too much. I hate when a merch store or whatever has a million things and you're like, no one's buying these. I like just trim the fat. With Foco, there's no fat. It's all good. There's a Foco for it.
Is that it?
It's
You good?
been it.
Okay.
I've been done with this ad read for like 25 seconds.
Okay, cool. Let's begin a new one. Shady Rays, our friends at Shady Rays, they are the quality shades that are built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered no matter the season. I know the summer's wrapping up. We're heading into fall, but you still need some Shady Rays because Shady Rays are the premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. It's an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, no matter the season. They probably got a style that you like, that tailors to your fit, maybe tailors to your favorite team's color scheme. It's a wide selection. We love them. And we also love the return policy. The return policy is really the meat of Shady Rays because you can exchange a new pair that you don't like if you don't like them, or if you lose them, you can exchange and return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has you covered with personal and fast support. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Also, I did want to mention we were invited to an event, a hockey tournament in, I believe, New Jersey. That is the Heroes Cup hockey tournament, which benefits the Tunnels to Tower Foundation. It's basically a hockey tournament in which they sell tickets and jerseys and stuff, and all of the donations and proceeds go to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which supports like fallen law enforcement officers and firefighters from 9/11. And so they invited us. We're not going to be able to make it out, but did want to give them a shout out. It is Saturday, September 14th from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Menon Sports Arena in Morristown, New Jersey. There's going to be a bunch of teams playing in the tournament, like the FDNY team, the NYPD team, U.S. Coast Guard, New Jersey Fire, New Jersey State, PBA, the Suffolk County PD, Port Authority PD, and the NHL is going to have a team there as well with alumni. It's going to be live streamed on the Long Island Sports Network. You can get tickets at heroescuptickets.t2t.org. Tickets start at $30. All the jersey proceeds go to Tunnels to Towers. And the way that they're going to use some of those donations, they're going to build mortgage-free smart homes for catastrophically wounded veterans. They're going to pay off the mortgages of fallen law enforcement officers and firefighters who lost their lives in the line of duty or to 9/11-related illnesses and who have left behind young children. They also have a veterans village and a homeless veterans program. So a really, really awesome event being put on. Again, that is heroescuptickets.t2t.org to buy tickets. They also sent us a nice little jersey that they're going to be wearing during the event. So this is what it looks like on the front. Not a bad jersey.
No.
Not a bad jersey at all. And then
The
the
side
back,
is nice.
pretty sweet as
Yep.
well. So shout out to the Heroes Hockey Cup tournament and Tunnels to Towers. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for inviting us. Sorry, we're not going to be able to make it. Hope you can if you're in the New York and New Jersey area.
Do a like spike as well.
Like Spike time. If
Press
you're
buttons.
here watching this live, hit that thumbs up button right below the video player. Please drive up those likes. And also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that as well. We love subscribers.
We do have a super chat from Stacey Faye who says, the love of your life had some mildly questionable things YouTube wouldn't let me say here.
I believe
The
it.
sky is blue.
That does not sound like something that needed to be super chatted but for a normal show, but for our show, really it's like a lot of hockey and then whatever the love of your life is trying to say.
A little inside baseball here.
Yeah.
Our Discord. If you're not joined our Discord, please join our Discord if you're a member of the Whatnut community, because it's fucking electric in there. It's wild. Inside baseball, the love of your life chatted in the Discord, said, I'm not going to be able to make it to the YouTube. Stacey Faye, hero that they are, said, if you want me to send any super chats for you, I got you. So,
and then the love of your life sent that along, and Stacey Faye put it through
The
a
filter.
nice person filter and said, you know what? Here's $5 from the love of your life.
I feel like that's unfair to the love of your life. He's nice. He's just
No. I
chaotic.
mean, like a nice person who that would be like, oh, like I mustn't say.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
No, love of your life never actually. In fact, I got on the Discord and somebody said something incorrect about my outfit, and I was in a bad mood that day, or cranky, or something, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And the love of your life had my back, because the love of your life says outrageous things, but is also very positive.
it's like you mentioned earlier. It's like, I can say that shit. You can't.
Yeah, and I
That's
just want
love
to
of your
point
life
out,
energy.
last week, I'm sorry to the person who was confused. My pants were gray.
We don't need to go into
I don't know what
pants
that
chat.
person thought was going on, but my pants were gray. It was on video. They're gray. Here is Cody Ceci. Now we bring in probably one of the most discussed players on this podcast, the great Cody Ceci of the San Jose Sharks. Cody, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
To clarify, we discuss you a lot because we fucking love you. I'm sure that's a very, very like weird thing to hear
Why
when
are
you
they
enter
talking
onto a
about me?
podcast. You're like, why are you talking about me all the time? We fucking love you. So this is a great get for us personally.
I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes it goes two different ways for me, so I appreciate hearing that.
Oh, no. I mean, we're going to talk, I'm sure, a bunch about Edmonton and Edmonton fans and everything. But when you were moved, there was, or I'll even put it this way, when Bob Stauffer today tweeted, it's going to be a good day in oil country. the first response I saw was they realized their mistake and got Ceci back. Like, even if they want to yell at you or anything, that they want you, they need you to be part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed my my time in Edmonton. The fans and Bob and everybody in that organization had a great time in the last few years and some pretty good runs. So yeah, it was bittersweet for sure.
We'd be remiss if off the top we, of course, didn't mention the tragedy this past weekend. Our hearts and our love to you and everybody in the NHL. I know that you'd cross paths with Johnny Gaudreau and played a lot with him. So just our condolences to everybody, yourself included.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's pretty devastating news. We had some good battles in the Battle of Alberta. Had a chance to meet him and have a night with him a long time ago when he was up for the Calder. So that's devastating news, and my heart goes out to their whole family.
You and your guy, Mark Stone, as I was digging through his biography, they were, I believe, tied in rookie points when they first came into the league. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, Battle of Alberta. We started this podcast based on just watching the Battle of Alberta a few years ago, that amazing playoff series that was just absolute madness. Every time anything happened with those two teams, it was incredible. And obviously, Johnny was a big part of that. Speaking of players in that battle, your friend is super duper rich now. How about that? Leon finally coming into some money. How about that for the guy?
Yeah, he did sign a massive ticket today. I mean, yeah, I'm happy for him. He's a great player, great friend of mine too. So anytime you see your buddies sign something like that, you can just be happy for them. It's a tough league, and he's been dominant in it. So yeah, really happy for him.
I gotta ask you, what did you think of his Instagram post to say goodbye to you? Because I got a hell of a laugh out of that one.
Yeah. I've seen that second picture a million times. I mean, he loves that one. We sat together on the plane, and we would always go over some game footage on the iPads, and sometimes we would just relive happy or funny things that happened in the game, and that was one of them. So I saw that one a million times. So I wasn't surprised he posted that.
You're a good player. Why are you prone to so many funny moments? When I say prone, it makes it sound like it's a bad thing. But we'll talk about the Game 7 stuff and everything. But like, you're this huge game player. Obviously, that was very big in the second round against Vancouver, and even Game 7 against the Panthers. No, well, yeah, Kings a couple years ago. But I mean, Springs Janmark for the breakaway goal in Game 7. Like, you have so many big moments, whether it's a huge goal or a big pass, or just a funny visual like that. When I don't know, like when your playing days are done, if you flip through the pages of your career, you're going to find some hilarious pictures.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that just comes with playing a long time. There's always funny stuff that happens. I mean, no one can avoid them if you're playing that many games. I mean, there's some funny ones that we have of Leon and Connor and Tyson Barrie used to sit at the back too. We used to go through some funny clips. So I think it just happens. It comes with the game, and there's bound to be something that happens, and if you're playing that long.
Is that screenshot from the Draisaitl post like the most shit you've gotten, or is there another one where you've gotten like a lot of shit from teammates?
Yeah, no, that's probably the best one that we got.
But
yeah, it's a pretty funny clip.
I loved it though, because I feel like it like really, really shows the relationship between you guys, and also like your personality that you can take being made fun of in a public forum like that. And also you have to be close with a guy for him to post that and for like a laugh. So I love the post. And so I'm not surprised to hear that you guys are great friends.
Yeah, we had a lot of good laughs at the back of the plane. That's for sure.
And he's the one that gave you the nickname Mr. Game 7. So I feel like that doesn't happen unless there's a trust and an understanding, and certainly a belief in you. Let's talk about the Game 7 stuff, because I rewatched your goal against the Canucks in Game 7, which was just an absolute bomb. I've seen that goal 1,000 times because I'm an Oilers fan, and as I was rewatching it today, I was like, I never even noticed what an amazing celebration you had. You're like, you're doing this with your fist. You almost killed Dylan Holloway with how hard you hugged him. I missed it, though, because of John Butchergross's famous call, which was, of all people, Cody Ceci opens the scoring. When you go back and watch that, are you like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I scored these big goals in these big moments. Or are you like, shut the fuck up. Leon can say it. You can't say it.
Yeah, I mean, that was, the celebration emotions are crazy high in games like that. Their fans were insane that game. It was a big game, big moment. So, I mean, in terms of when I'm scoring these goals, I don't know what it is, but they're definitely big games to get up for. It helps once you've played in a couple Game 7s to feel a little calmer. They are pretty nerve-wracking, especially on the big stage in a Canadian market like that game. So, yeah, I mean, emotions were high, so I was just I was pretty excited about that one.
John Butchergross is a friend of this podcast. Do you have anything to say to him in response of saying, of all people, Cody Ceci?
No, I mean, I do get that time to time. Every time I score, people seem to be shocked, but they forget that we're all pretty good NHL players.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah. We're probably getting a Cody Ceci jersey at some point. So like I guess I was gonna say re-sign with the Sharks, so it's not gonna get old or whatever. But even if it's a one and done, that's gonna be a sick jersey. Part of us is we're devastated to see anybody leave that Oilers team. And Zach Hyman gave that impassioned speech after Game 7 of want everybody to come back. And obviously, this was probably a challenging summer for you. Even before you were traded, what was it like not knowing, like, am I one of the guys that's coming back?
Yeah, that's a tough part. When you go that far and come that close, the only thing on your mind is getting back and doing it again, giving another shot. So that was kind of all that was on my mind. And then you start seeing the rumors float around where they got to make it work with the cap and bringing certain guys back. You definitely just want to be a part of it if you can, because we were that close. So I really believed in that group. But then at the same time, another opportunity comes along. You have to move on and embrace it. So we came down early to San Jose just to try and get settled and start skating with the guys, get to know everyone here, and make sure we're comfortable and ready to go when the season starts.
Do you hate the Blues like a little bit? Because it seemed like you survived the first wave of the trade rumors, and then the offer sheets come in, and then you get traded. So you gotta hate them a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think that kind of started the fire again. And then my name started popping up again, and you just never know in the summers. The summer was so short this year, so there wasn't a ton of time to make moves. And yeah, I mean, whatever happened. I was definitely happy to be in that organization for a few years, and we definitely had a lot of good runs. So that was a part of my career that I'll never forget.
What's like the mindset shift in going from like the Oilers to a team like the Sharks, who are in a really sort of a rebuilding place, and they're a really young team? So like, how do you kind of wrap your head around that and that transition?
Yeah, definitely a different mindset, I think, going into this season. I'll be looked at more as a veteran guy for young guys to lean on and ask questions. If I can, just be any help to the young guys if they have any questions about guys I've played with in the past. I've played with some pretty big names in hockey now, with Matthews and Sid and Connor, Leon. So if they have any questions about those guys and what they're doing, if I can help them out, I mean, I'll connect them or just tell them what they're doing.
The Islanders have a no facial hair policy. Are you going to shave just so you kind of like fit in with the kids?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just this last 2 weeks have been a whirlwind for me, getting down here, packing up Ottawa, sending my wife to Edmonton to pack up that house. It's just been crazy living in a hotel. So I could definitely clean it up before the start of the season. Look young again.
You don't need to. You don't need
we
to.
We love your facial hair. It's just you're probably going to be around. Like Pete and I can't grow great facial hair either, and we're 100 years old.
Yeah,
you
but
can. I'm assuming though, playing with children, you're going to be the only person on the team with like a lot of facial hair, and especially good facial hair. You'll run
but
into
it's
some
like going
bad.
to prison. You show up and you want to be the guy that can have facial hair and really establish your dominance right off the bat. So keep it. 100%.
Yeah, I withdraw my question. Yeah, keep the facial hair.
Yeah.
You go in there and.
You mentioned all the great guys that you've played with over your career. Is there? I mean, I know every guy has his own style as to how he approaches, and sort of like McDavid's got the intensity and is always locked in, and some guys are a little bit more lighthearted and kind of play with ease. Like, has anything shocked you from like the way that certain greats approach the game, ones that you've played with?
I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me with those guys is how they keep an eye on the other greats in the game. They push each other. They're always watching what the other one's doing and how much success they're having and how they're finding success. So I think that's the biggest thing, is how they all just kind of keep an eye on each other, support each other, but they all want to be the best in the league.
You've played with, I mean, we just went down like the list of Malkin, Crosby, Draisaitl, McDavid, Matthews. If Celebrini or Smith are like really, really, really good, is that even going to impress you, or is your tolerance for great players just all fucked now because of those guys?
Definitely skewed a little bit. I mean, the stuff Connor's been doing the last couple of years is pretty incredible. So that was fun to be a part of and to watch. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to put too much pressure on those guys coming up. They're still very young players. It took these other guys a little while to figure it out at this level. Guys are just bigger, stronger, faster. So it does take a little bit of time, but I think they'll fit in nicely just based on what they've done so far.
What number are you going to wear? If you could break a little news for us, because 5 is taken. We've gone through all of the available numbers. We have one that we'd like for you, but what are you thinking?
What's the one you like for me? I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Sean, if you could put up the available numbers. We really like number 97, man. Like
97 would work.
97.
It was taken on your last team, but it's available here.
Yeah. I actually joked with my buddies with that exact same thing. They're like, go 99. I'm like, no, I'm going to go 97.
You can't wear 99. It is retired league wide, but it would be electric if you went to San Jose and was like, all right, cool. Fuck you, Connor. It's mine now.
Yeah. No, I'm going number 4 again.
Oh, hell yes.
Famously, nobody good has ever worn that number either. So
yeah, they were texting me Bobby, but yeah, I'm going number 4 again. I wore it in Pittsburgh, and I like having a single digit number, and 5 was gone, so I just went back to what I wore in Pitt.
What was it like wearing? Did you wear 83?
83, yeah.
Yeah, I wore 83 all of junior hockey, and then I wore that in Toronto for a year, but I just didn't really love the look of the double digit anymore, so went back to single digits.
Why'd you pick that one, or did you not pick it in junior?
I always wore 8 growing up. That was my minor hockey number, and then I was 93 birth year. When I got to the 67s in junior, 8 was taken, so they kind of combined them, made 83 for me. And I just wrote it out all of junior, and then tried it again in Toronto. There's so many numbers retired there that there wasn't a ton of options. So, but 83 was there. I wore it 1 year, and then went back to single digit.
I mean, you said you were joking about 97. Behind every joke is a little bit of truth. I know you've chosen your number, but I'm not ruling out seeing you hit the ice with 97.
Some people call it joking, some call it workshopping.
Yeah, I think that like Adam Oates, maybe when he left the Bruins, when he went to Washington, I want to say, he took 77 because he was like, shout out Ray. That's my guy. I love the idea of when you leave a team, Sean is confirming, weird memory for me to have, but I love the idea of when you leave a team, just pay tribute to one of the other guys on your old team. And in this case being like, McDavid, you and me? Yeah, same, brother. You mentioned the Ottawa 67s. We getting a little reunion in San Jose, huh? You and Toffoli?
Yeah, I saw Toff at the rink yesterday here, so it was nice to catch up with him and see him again.
This is going to be a fun time. The other side of we were devastated to see you leave the Oilers because we know how important you were in that room and on that team and how much all the guys loved you there. But the other side of it is, if Cody Ceci had to get traded, our pick probably would have been the Sharks because they're such an exciting young team. And even last year had some great battles against the Oilers. There was obviously a game that had some real ramifications early on in the season between these two teams, but they're a fun team. They got a lot of young players. They signed Toffoli. Their young core is incredible. They've now added Askarov. That is going to be a really fun team, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think just people's expectations are kind of all over the place with our team, and that's kind of exciting. I mean, you just want to go out there and put a good team on the ice and be competitive every single night. So I think that's our goal, is to go into this season and just have a better year than they had last year, be a little more competitive and have a bit more experience. And I think they added that.
We've never got the opportunity to ask a player from last year's Oilers team about the infamous Bob Stauffer skate, because Bob Stauffer, I believe it was in Seattle after the Sharks loss, laced him up, and he theorized with us earlier that he rallied you guys for the bounce back in the second half. Can you confirm or deny that the Stauffer skate really turned things around for the Oil boys?
That might be part of it. I mean, we did have a coaching change and kind of a shake up to wake everybody up, but yeah, that was he was lightening the mood. We saw him skating around before one of our practices. He rented some skates and went out for a free skate. I think he had like a Red Bull or a Monster in his hand. He was just skating around. So it was pretty funny to see, but yeah, we were going through a dark time at that point.
Those strides, though, like
he was like dancing while skating. It was incredible.
He
it was
is
majestic.
such an elegant skater. Those were incredible. And you're right, he did have a Red Bull. And whenever we talk to him about it, because we talk to him like every day, as much as we're going to have him on tomorrow as well, whenever stuff like that comes up, he's like, you know what? You got to be willing to make fun of yourself every now and then. And we're like, Bob, who's making fun of you? That's the coolest shit in the world. Like, nobody was like, oh, Bob's being ridiculous. They were like, Bob's a fucking gangster. Is that the mindset that you all have? Because you could see even, I think, is it Leon that's looking at him?
Yeah.
It was just like fucking beaming. And I'm sure that because you're all around each other so much and you all travel together, I'm sure that sometimes you don't want to always see each other every day. But there's just a respect that you could see as the Edmonton Oilers look at beloved broadcaster Bob Stauffer. We've got that right, correct?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great sense of humor, and he's always around us, rides our the buses and planes with us. So we see him when he's off the air, and he's a pretty funny guy. So he was just doing it for a laugh, and I think we did need it at that point in time.
And he's one of those people who could have done anything. We say that a lot about people, and that's just to be nice. We're all individually only good at maybe one or two things. Pete and I have yet to find either of those two things. But Bob really could have been a politician. He could have been a lawyer. He's got this incredible memory. Like, there are so many amazing uses for Bob Stauffer. And we, as hockey fans, are so freaking lucky that he chose sports. Because whenever we talk to him, he's like, oh, well, you got to remember, this thing that you're talking about happened when they were trailing 5-4 in the third period of whatever. It's incredible. And he doesn't do it to flex or whatever. He's just got a mind that none of us have.
He's locked in.
Yeah, that's a great point. He would always walk around the room while we're doing media, pull guys aside and just talk to them. But he has the craziest memory when it comes to sports, and especially hockey.
Now, we requested you with the Sharks, and the Sharks and Kyle were so helpful in getting you. We're so glad you agreed to do this. A last-minute request that I was always planning on doing kind of casually so it didn't look like we were weirdos. I threw at the end of the email this morning when I sent over the link, oh, and if like Hugo's around, we'd love to have him as well. We are obsessed with Hugo Ceci, and we are devastated that he is not on the screen right now. You, in addition to being this great hockey player, well known, you also have the best dog in the NHL. What's it like to know Hugo?
Yeah, he definitely stole the limelight from me the last couple of years. He's a fan favorite. People ask me about him more than they ask myself about me, but he's right over here. I can bring him on camera for a sec if you want.
Hell yes,
we want to do
please.
that. Yes, please.
We're not even gonna do
Can
the
you
like.
please-
Oh, if you want to, no, fucking do it.
Please
We want
get
you.
Hugo.
Go.
We'll talk
He's in
amongst
the hotel
ourselves. It
with
takes
me.
you a couple minutes. Whatever. We love
he's
Hugo.
Hugo, come here.
Oh, this is a huge get.
Biggest moment in show history.
Yes, yes. The legend.
Hugo.
Oh my god.
Hugo's like, how much you want to bet I can run faster than any of you fuckers? Hi, Hugo.
He won't get to run again in the skills comp this year, but
What an incredible performance he put on. Where, Sean, if you want to quickly throw it up, our viewers have seen it a million times because it was such a big night. When you had I believe the Rogers skills competition, we were like, wait, the Oilers do a skills competition during the season? Why would they do that? If you have a day off, take a day off. Go to dinner. Why are they doing that? All right, well, that one's pretty cool. Ceci won the hardest. That's pretty sweet. The dogs race. It's the best event we've ever seen. And Hugo was so locked in. It was great. We got to learn about Bowie and Lenny. Yes. And Hugo's performance for the rough relay, he was shot out of a cannon. You were beaming as he won this. He hadn't won it yet, but because Lenny, the defending champion, still had to go. And honestly, Lenny choked because he saw what Hugo had done. Nobody was going to beat Hugo because he was so fast. And honestly, this sounds weird to say. I don't know why this makes sense to me. Hugo was so professional in that event. He went, he sat down. You could tell he was like, just let me go. And as soon as Tony Brar said go, boom, 7.1 seconds.
In a straight line, direct straight line. Incredible performance. Also, it blew my fucking mind when they said he was 9 years old. That's how athletic he is. So shout out to whatever you're feeding him because he is unbelievable.
Yeah, his little legs were cooking. We're actually joking after he beat Lenny that Connor was going to show up with a Greyhound next year. He's so competitive, but he doesn't have to worry about Hugo anymore. So maybe Lenny gets to run again.
So are you saying that maybe behind the scenes, Connor was pulling some strings to get you out of town to get his dog back on top?
Maybe it came down to Hugo. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just connecting some dots here.
I mean, honestly, Sean, our producer, and I were rewatching it for the billionth time before we jumped on here, Cody. And when Connor walks off the ice to go get Hugo, I was like, I know you're Connor McDavid, but how do you get back on the ice? Like, I would just be like, oh, something came up, I had to leave. And then also I would like demand a trade because that was... Like, Lenny's obviously the best. Connor is obviously really, really the best. But, man, Hugo showed who was boss at that event. And you, as I mentioned, won hardest shot. What was a better moment for you? Hugo winning the rough relay or you winning hardest shot?
Oh, definitely the Hugo thing. I mean, I know I could shoot the puck hard, but I was more happy for Hugo than anything.
And more importantly, we know because you're an NHL player, you probably have a really good slap shot. People don't know about Hugo. Maybe Hugo's timid. Maybe Hugo has an injury we don't know about. The world learned about Hugo Ceci on that fateful night.
And like people don't think that Frenchies are fast, little legs. So like kind of proving a lot of doubters wrong. So just that was legitimately a highlight of last season for me.
Definitely. He mentioned the little legs. My sister has a Frenchie, shout out Emilio, greatest dog in the world. When you walk Frenchies sometimes, they're excited to walk and then they just sit down. That's a big breed for just taking a break in the middle of a walk and being like, I don't care if we're in the middle of the street, I'm sitting down right now. Does Hugo have that, or is he always what we saw in the rough relay?
No, Hugo's pretty good. He's got pretty good endurance. But we have another Frenchie, Zeus. he has a little bit tougher time breathing. So we actually took him to the beach the other day, and he was having a tough time. It was just too hot for him.
They're not crazy about the heat. They are not
No.
dogs that do super well in the heat, but they're adorable. Is Zeus also a? I think, are they called like the blue Frenchies, the ones that are gray?
Yeah, he's blue Pete, I think it's called, but he's like white with beige spots.
Incredible, incredible, man. Well, we love Hugo, and we're so excited that you're in San Jose. It should be an awesome season. We really appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right, best of luck this season.
All right, thank you.
Sharks got a good one.
Sharks got a great one.
What a trade. They also got a 3rd round pick in that deal because the Oilers were in a tough spot and everybody knew they had to move some salary. Sharks, man. Tidy bit of work.
A couple notes from the chat. Chat says that I compared the Sharks to being in prison. Not what I was getting at when I said the facial hair analogy, but well played. And then somebody else said a second Frenchie has hit the podcast.
Not surprised the chat loved the idea of Cody Ceci wearing number 97. And they went from upset that Hugo was not there to elated Hugo was there. Thank you so much to Hugo for stopping by.
It was so much better that we thought Hugo wasn't going to be there than if we had known Hugo was going to be there.
Correct.
Yes. That hits so hard. And also,
it also allowed us to concentrate for like the first half of the interview because we were like, okay, Hugo's not here. Let's talk about Cody Ceci. And then he was like, oh, Hugo is here. We're like, well, fuck you then. Put him on the screen.
Poor Zeus.
I know.
Zeus has to fucking hate Hugo.
To be fair, Cody did reveal to us off air that Zeus is deaf. So
right.
Yeah, he can't hear all the talk.
Zeus can't hear how much we love Hugo.
Zeus. So what? So if Zeus is HW, who's translating and signing for Zeus? How you do that for a dog?
Well, wouldn't Zeus be HW because he's deaf?
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Did I say that Hugo was deaf?
Yeah.
I don't know. I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
The deaf
Hugo
dog is the
breaks
deaf
the sound barrier with his speed, but Zeus is the one that is deaf.
Zeus is a bastard in a basket.
I asked after when we were saying goodbye after, I was like, have you seen There Will Be Blood? Because you should have stayed with the Oilers if you got a deaf boy.
I feel like somebody on that team needs to get, I guess not on the Sharks, on the Oilers needs to be put onto it. Like if they had just one like team-wide movie night where they watched it, I feel like they would have won the cup last year if they had known.
And what I can guarantee you is their post-game thing, because they have the painter and the plumber thing after their post-game awards would definitely be There Will Be Blood related.
I would hope so. I think that we should schedule. We're working on setting up our team trips for this season. We go to places, we set up shop with a team, do a bunch of interviews, go to a game. We should set something up with the Oilers, but instead of doing interviews or anything, we're just going there to show them There Will Be Blood.
So yeah, it's like, what players do you want? Connor, Leon, if we can. It's like, how long do you need? About 2.5 hours.
Yes, yeah.
That would be a great video to be like, we are showing the Edmonton Oilers There Will Be Blood. It is our mission to let them know how important we get there. And like McDavid's seen it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just
you got to present it. Like
I have stuff to do. Is all.
we have some really interesting film we want you to analyze for us, Connor. Take a look at this.
And it's because there isn't dialogue the first like 20 minutes of that movie because he's just mining for gold, right?
Yeah.
We're just sitting there, and he's like, "What is this?" Quiet. Gets good.
You'll see.
He's about to break both of his legs and crawl back into town.
The budget of that movie was $25 million. That's insane.
Whenever I see that, I'm like, Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't paid $25 million to do that?
I know.
He gave like a $200 million performance at least.
I mean, I would think that like 158 minutes worth of film would cost $25 million.
Yeah. That's a good point. I am very ignorant when it comes to film production. Like, I think that if we were to make a good video, it would cost us $25 million
Yeah,
because
pretty
we
much.
just like don't really know what we're doing. How did they make There Will Be Blood with all those in that set piece, with the fire and all that?
Yeah.
I mean, think about what like athletes make in just like a year.
Yeah.
of-
Leon Draisaitl is about to make $14 million. That's
Yeah,
like
to
Two seasons
work-
of Leon Draisaitl, you could make There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, but I would.
In 2007.
My what I'm saying is, I feel like it makes like athletes, of course, would get paid more than actors.
Great question
They
from
should at least.
from Eric Richardson on the super chat. If the Sharks played the Whalers, would Dick Richards know who to root for? Dick Richards, of course, was the Coca-Cola commercial producer who was hired to direct Jaws and was fired because he was confused and kept referring to the shark as a whale, leading to him being fired and replaced by a young whippersnapper named Steven Spielberg. Shout out Eric Richardson for the super chat. We do have some breaking Sharks news. Other than that, Cody Ceci, beloved friend of the podcast, is kind of a coward for wearing number 4 instead of number 97. That would have been so electric. But fun Sharks news: Macklin Celebrini will be living with Joe Thornton.
That's incredible. That's the best. Joe Thornton just running like essentially like a foster house for Sharks rookies forever would be the best development for Joe Thornton of all time.
It's very important that Joe Thornton went to the Sharks, because if he stayed in Boston or I don't want to say like big hockey market, because it makes it seem like I'm saying Sharks fans aren't loud and proud, which they are. But I think that if he stayed in a super highly concentrated hockey market, Joe Thornton would have retired at like 28 years old and just been like, yo, I'm this kind of free spirit. I can't have this much hockey. That he went to San Jose, continued his legendary career, and now holds the Sharks and hockey so close to him in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
It's magnificent. And I don't think this would have happened had he stayed in Boston or had he played the bulk of his career in one of those kind of like hockey. This is your whole personality. This is your identity. He got to live the life that he wanted to live. And now hockey is still such a happy part of his life. That makes my day.
I want to go to San Jose and I want to interview Joe Thornton and Macklin Celebrini at Joe Thornton's house.
I was already like, I had the wheels turning, thinking of how we can do it in a way that they would say yes to it. And we need to massage it a little bit, but let's see what we can come up with.
Just hit up Joe and be like, can we come over? And be like, oh, I
He'd
didn't know you were
probably
going to
say
be
yeah.
here.
Like,
Yeah.
we know Cody Ceci.
Yeah.
If we were just like, hey, Joe, it's us from before, I feel like Joe Thornton's the type to be like, oh, yeah, cool.
Well, I mean,
That's
it's
us
not
from
like
before. We met you at the thing.
I mean, it's not like the Sharks control Joe.
True.
Or our access. So that's
What
why we
would-
just show up and then it's just like, oh, there's another Shark. There's like an actual Sharks player here. Interesting.
They
No,
do
it'd be
control
amazing.
the asset,
Mm.
which is Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
love
saying.
referring to him as
We're
the
not there
asset.
to interview Macklin Celebrini. We're just going to Joe's
He's-
house,
yeah,
and
he
it
just
just so
happens to be
happens
there.
that Macklin's there.
That's a good
Okay,
point.
say Cody Ceci houses, let's say Will Smith. Where are y'all sitting?
Cody Ceci's definitely housing Jake Wallman.
Mm.
Is Wallman
He's
still
old,
staying
isn't he?
at houses?
Isn't he like upper 20s? Mid?
Yeah, I think Jake Wallman's older than I think he is.
Yeah, I think he's doing a condo.
He is 28 years old.
Yeah, these.
I mean, that
he's
would
part
be
of
the
young
best.
core.
That would be the best if Cody Ceci was like, Jake, if you want a place to live, I famously like probably don't have a house right now because I just got traded there, but you want to stay with us? We got dogs.
Well, now that's a nice little cheat sheet for any NHL players listening to this show. Is that if you want me to think that you're younger than you are, do some stupid little fucking dances, and I'll think that you're like early 20s.
Sidney Crosby starts grittying. You're like, who's this
Yeah.
young kid on the fence?
He's hit the fountain of youth.
I meant to mention, by the way, Sidney Crosby we can add to the list of big free agents next year.
Oh,
Can we just do that? Whatever we were going to do with Leon, just do with Sidney Crosby.
that one's more likely. I don't think Sid's going anywhere, but it would be funny.
I mean, they're going to free out. They're going to that Jeff Skinner money comes off the
I was
books
going to say
next
3-hour
year.
drive up north, not bad at all. I've made it several times between Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
That, oh my God. If somehow that happened.
Dude, I would cry real tears. Like I'd get that jersey so fast. I
But, like,
love Sid.
They wouldn't win.
He does have
Of course.
he does have an incredible Buffalo highlight from that winter, the first Winter
Oh
Classic.
Jesus! I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I don't want him anymore.
Well, speaking of the Buffalo Sabres, we've kind of buried the lead. Apologies that we talked about silly things like Leon Draisaitl contract extensions. When the Buffalo Sabres have a scoreboard, folks, are you seeing this? Sean, have you heard?
It's been kind of hard not to
Why have you heard?
because they won't stop talking about it.
The Buffalo Sabres are fucking obsessed with their new jumbotron.
They're
It's
all in.
they're talking about.
They are all in on their new jumbotron. They posted it with "It's a beaut." Check out the images. So ready to see our video board in action. And whoa.
Wow! This is fucking early. This is mid-July behavior when there's nothing else going on. Like we're essentially playing hockey right now.
Training camp starts this month.
Yes. And the Sabres are like, check out this fucking TV we got. Isn't it big?
You play preseason games this month. Sean,
Also, very dangerous for like this organization in particular to be hyping up their jumbotron because famously nothing bad has
That's
ever
kind of what I'm
happened.
thinking they're doing. They're like, see, this one's attached to the ceiling.
We didn't fuck this one up. We're capable of getting a new jumbotron
And see,
and
we
not
are
dropping it.
We are spending the money we saved on Jeff Skinner.
So that's the best part of the jokes is that everybody in the comments being like, seems like you could have kept Jeff Skinner and held on to that old jumbotron.
Sean, go through the IG post they put up. So they put up an IG post, I think, yesterday. Very excited with the "It's a beaut." Hey, we're going to go do the rundown of all the stuff about it. So you got the pixels are changing from 10 millimeter separation on the previous board, which falls down, to 4 millimeter separation, creating a higher definition
down.
viewing experience. That's
Which
pretty
fell
cool.
down once.
That really should have been the main feature that was touted for this jumbotron.
That's why I like
it doesn't fall.
So
It's
I'm going to go
attached
through a
to the
bunch of
ceiling.
these, and none of them are like, you'll find that none of them are like, steel. Steel holds this up. Nothing like that. Keep going, Sean. Features video panels on the underbelly, and they highlight underbelly for fans in the lower rows, optimized for fans sitting closer to the glass. Pause. It is a really good feature.
It's
that
a
is
very nice jumbotron. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's a nice
not
jumbotron.
It's
But the
very
fact
good
that
jumbotron.
fact that they're not marketing this with the guy from I Think You Should Leave with like a car with a steering wheel that doesn't fly off as you're driving.
Yeah.
A jumbotron that doesn't fall on the ground when you use it.
Shout out Ruben Rabasa. Next, Sean, it includes 4 digital corner panels for a seamless viewing experience. Again, I say this is a very good and great jumbotron. And lastly, they add, and I will note that I did edit this because there were multiple errors on it, and I cleaned it up because I couldn't fucking look at it. The screen will be about double in size from the previous board, which falls down, or 27 feet by 43 feet, 4 tages tall, and 6.5 tages wide. I gotta say, 4 tages tall makes it sound
Seems
smaller than
less
I would have
impressive.
expected. Yeah.
I know Tage is tall, but like, you know that Jerry World jumbotron exists, right?
Yeah, and like the Patriots thing, the Jerry World, there are some massive ones. But the best part of
This
this
is an arena.
What's
I
that?
said this is an arena.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Oh,
It's an
yes, true.
it's
Fair.
It's an above average size jumbotron. It gets the job done. The big
For-
ones hurt.
Like this would be.
Especially if they fall.
That's true.
Let's get to the comments because that's the best part of this post. Of course, you see Jeff Skinner money ass scoreboard. There were a ton of things saying like so.
This is why we sold Jeff Skinner.
And man,
I don't like the term selling. Like I know that's essentially what they did sell Jeff Skinner, but
this would have been so good for Jeff Con.
yes.
The things you could have done at Jeff Con, but yeah, we got is this our new top 6 forward? Would have Jeff Skinner would have looked good on that screen in blue and gold. Jeff Skinner money ass scoreboard. It only cost 1 Jeff Skinner. Will this end our playoff drought? And even with this screen, I can't see them making the playoffs. That's excellent. Great, good, clean, wholesome fun. So that's what the Buffalo Sabres are up to.
I love the Sabres.
I'm still saying they're making the playoffs this year.
Mm.
They are. That is my only prediction for the season.
no reason on paper to believe that.
Yeah.
Is all I'll say.
I got one reason.
Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff.
Again,
Lindy,
no
man.
reason on paper to believe that they'll make the playoffs.
Sean, you ever consider your paper is stupid? You ever consider getting a new paper?
It'd have the same exact facts on it.
You ever consider getting a new printer, Sean?
It would print the exact same facts.
You ever, because you know what? Maybe you just have bad penmanship, which is actually, you're supposed
From
to
the
have
printer?
bad penmanship. That means you're smart.
I have pretty good penmanship for a guy.
I believe that.
Uh-oh.
If if I'm obviously writing quick, it's not great. But like if I'm
Good.
like writing something that's taking me time,
But
Yeah,
you're not supposed to.
TJ's like whole theory of or
It's
explanation
not my
of why
whole theory. It's a scientific.
it's a scientific theory. It's
Yes.
just guys on paper. If you have bad penmanship, you're more creative.
that sounds like something that someone
With
had
bad
penmanship
penmanship.
made up
Yes.
to make themselves
Someone
feel
was
good.
like, "I'm not stupid. This is how it's supposed to be."
yeah,
but it
it's like
does-
the
What do you mean when you
smart
write a letter, you
people-
should be able to see the
smart
letter?
people have messier rooms and
But
stuff like
think about though, like every doctor writes like an absolute madman.
Yeah, but I feel like that is like a Starbucks messing up your
exactly.
name.
Where they're like, "We've been
This is
told
part of the
that this
brand."
is how it's done,
Yes.
so we're going to do it."
Yes.
If anything, like I think that you buck the trend and disprove and it's not 100% thing. If you have neat handwriting, that you're a fucking square or something like that. I think that it hurts my case that you are a creative person who has
I have good
nice
handwriting.
You have very nice handwriting. Again, like if you believe in that thing, like concerningly.
When I
nice.
used to like write cards in middle school or whatever, I'd get made fun of. They'd be like, "Oh,
You
you
got
have your
girl
sister
handwriting?"
write this
Yeah.
note for you?" I'm like, "No, I'm just not a fucking bozo."
I would say that my handwriting is distinctly male, but it is neat.
Mm.
It's
You
not.
just draw
It's not
dicks
pretty.
on-
Yes.
you just
yeah.
finish every sentence with a dick.
Yeah. It's like
man
girls,
definitely wrote this
girls
for
heart
sure.
their eye with the heart.
Yes.
Just the dick.
Stacy Faye says, "Shit, I have great handwriting. I must be dumb as fuck." True. That's
Can confirm.
a
You are
terrible
dumb.
way for you to find this out, Stacy, but we love you. And that's maybe anybody being dumb is what brings them to this lovely conversation. Because as we were preparing for this show, getting into our next topic, I was like, how is there only one show about how stupid and ridiculous hockey and specifically the NHL is? Because we've had the NHL PA Rookie Showcase going on, and as a result of that, we got to look at the Capitals uniforms for the upcoming season, where they've got their 50th anniversary thing, and they've also got a jersey sponsor. So there is a lot going on that jersey, Peter.
Mm-hmm. We've seen this pop up. We saw it with the Anaheim Ducks last year or 2 years ago when they introduced the jersey patch and they had an anniversary patch. Their fucking letters were in their armpits.
Yeah. The Aesthetics asks the obvious question, wonder how they're placing captains patches. Maybe they just strip the C. Maybe we're not considering. They're like, you know what? Let's spice things up. We have a crazy, weird, some might say the most interesting roster in the world. Let's go through some options for where the C could go. Sean, give us option one. So there is where you would kind of normally put it. You have to either shrink it or
Shrink the C.
shrink the C.
Not strip the C, shrink the C.
Yo, let's actually get our hands on an Ovechkin jersey this year, an authentic pro, shout out Fanatics,
Mhm.
and see if it's smaller than before. And then we can say they've shrunk the C. That might be honestly the best option. Let's do option two. There's room there.
That's
Just put it
ridiculous.
right in the
Right
middle.
in the middle.
We could, again, make sure you watch on YouTube and subscribe. Hit us with option three. Where is that? Oh, yeah. It replaces the C in capitals.
If you're not the captain, every other player other than Ovechkin just plays for the Apostles.
Well, I
I like this. So they take it away.
They strip the C
for-
from everybody except the captain.
Oh, how's your hockey going, son? Bad. They stripped the C. You're a rookie. You weren't the captain. You don't get it, Mom.
It's like when like different NFL teams are like, you can't put the stripes on the helmet until you've proven your, like that was a big thing for Dion, where he's like, you don't get to wear the buffalo until you've proven that you belong or whatever.
It's like how the Red Wings, the Red Wings, you have to earn your nameplate on the back of your jersey.
Yankees, you got to earn your stripes,
Yeah.
even though that's more of a metaphorical thing. You always wear the stripes.
Yeah, no, this
regardless,
is
but-
literal.
Yeah.
In Detroit, they give they have a fake nameplate for the back of the players in training camp, and if you make the roster, you get the actual nameplate. It's weird. I was gonna say, is option 3 the last option?
No, there's more. I just
Buddy,
wanna
it's
say,
not.
Okay, cool.
I think there is a world in which that could actually be kind of be cool, where they change the color of the C or the A in the logo for the captain and assistant.
Pizza's no. I
No.
say I'm not ruling it out.
Like if they just got rid of the blue and made it red in the Capitals' actual logo, I think it could be cool, and I think it would be aesthetically way more pleasing than what they're gonna do, which is just shift the 50 to the left and stick the C.
What if they just made a giant C on Caesar Sportsbook, which is their jersey sponsor?
Could you give us option 4?
I knew this was coming. There
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
There it is.
I knew it. I knew it.
That I did. That one is so. Of all them, this was the most like cursed.
Yeah, because it's literally half in the armpit, half on the shoulder, half over the Caesar Sportsbook ad.
Yeah, it's over the piping of that separates the shoulder from the chest. That's not bad. And lastly, I remember what option 5 is. Give us option 5.
That's not bad.
because there's a C if you're wearing a CCM helmet, which
Okay.
this person is.
I do like just the idea of every instance of a C anywhere on the uniform, changing the color of that. Just overdo it.
What if we start doing letters on the pants? What if we do like a Juicy Couture?
I was going to
type
say
fit-
famously,
Oh, across the ass.
across
famously-
the ass?
biddies have been doing this for years.
Biddies?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
thought you were talking like an actual patch on the
No,
pants, which
like-
in reality, I don't think would necessarily be a bad idea as an alternate to messing up the jersey. But I also like the Juicy Couture move.
Yeah, it was right across the ass.
But you got to write it out. It's got to be captain, like spelled out across the ass,
yes.
not just a C
Yeah,
But
because you can't just have
no-
like C cover and hole.
Can't do that.
or one on each cheek.
Can't do
Yeah.
that. Famously, in the motion picture D3, The Mighty Ducks, the coach, when he gives Charlie the C, because Charlie's being a baby that whole movie, shout out Empty Netters Boys. They did a podcast about it recently that was very funny. The coach at the end finally gives Charlie the C, and he goes up to him and he's like, "Hey, good job, buddy." And then takes his, he's like, it's like a magic trick he did. Took his hand off and he has stuck the C to his jersey. If such a moment happens, can't have guys reaching for people's pants and Brad Marchand got all that shit outlawed. Can't just go up and be like, "Hey, come over here, player. It's okay. I've affixed the C to your butt."
I feel like
Illegal.
they don't have to worry about switching or adding who the captain of the Capitals is going to be.
What are you talking about? There was just talk of shrinking the C. There's a lot of buzz about.
Doesn't Ovi usually do like the jersey tuck too, like the back jersey tuck?
He's not supposed to. It's
Yeah.
illegal now.
Oh, so
Correct.
he used to, didn't he?
Here's
He
a
did,
question:
yeah.
If the Capitals just didn't put the C on Ovechkin's jersey, how long would it take him to notice?
Probably a long time because he's going to show up to Capitals camp and be like, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Yeah, he's got bigger fish to fry.
Yes.
Famously, I didn't notice when you switched our lockers. So some of these things, if it just kind of looks like it,
Yeah.
maybe like I'm sure a lot of people look at your banner, Sean,
But
and don't understand that that's a weird cursed Buffalo Bills Stanley Cup thing. 'Cause it
Here's
just
the
looks
thing.
like a thing.
here's the thing, though: if Ovi breaks the goals record this year, we're gonna have a forever visual of him wearing the C like in his armpit.
Oh yeah.
That is
That's gonna
true.
be horrendous.
The thing I don't understand is, you know that when you design this patch, you know what this is going to mean. Like, design some kind of secondary design that leaves room for the C or the A. Like, you
Or
know that
Don't
this
have
problem's going to
jersey
happen.
patches.
I just came up with an option 6. Bicep. How sick would that be? Score a goal, let them know.
Replace the
Can't spell
I do
bicep
like
without
what
a C.
the Panthers do, because like they have the little banner on the side under the Panther, and then the captain and
Yeah.
the assistants have a secondary thing. Like if you had a cool little banner around the W's that are on the shoulders, the Eagles could be, or replace one of the Eagles with a C or an A. I think there's options that don't make it.
Yeah,
miserable.
the best option is just to not have jersey sponsorships. Fuck those jersey patches.
Or at least put them on the sleeve.
That leads to fun conversations. I'm really interested in what they do here, and this is a problem that wouldn't exist if it weren't for jersey patches.
That's fair.
It's a good thing, and everybody gets paid.
We do have other jersey news too.
Yes. Can we see, Sean, your Utah jerseys in action real quick? Looks great.
Love them.
Looks beautiful. Good job to our Utah friends.
I'll be the guy. I don't like it.
You're wrong. These
don't.
are clean, endearing.
Oh my god.
They're so.
You know my thoughts on the fucking word clean.
But they are. They're simple and they're
endearing.
beautiful. Like they're not boring. The Utah is so clean, and it hits in a way that like the Rangers one doesn't, because it's 4 letters, so it's just big and like a statement. And I wish they would throw a little purple in there. Like the colors are not the most exciting thing.
In a very good way, it feels like something that you would have thought already existed in the league. It feels like something that you didn't know was missing until you saw it. That looks like a real good, clean, endearing. And I agree with Pete. When you hear clean said about jerseys, your first thought at this point should be, so it's like monochromatic and doesn't have a lot going on. But this is that endearing.
It's fine. Like, that's as high as I'm willing to go. People being like, this is sick. It's not fucking sick.
I like it. I think it's sick.
Very generic. It's fine. It's a one-off. It'll do. It doesn't offend me. But let's take it easy.
For the record, I was not hating on the Rangers jerseys. I love the Rangers jerseys. I'm just like, the fact that it's only 4 letters and the letters are big, it hits in a different way than the Rangers jersey. I think it's good. I think it's better than the next jerseys we're going to talk about.
Okay, let's talk about the Ducks jerseys, because we saw more of them.
Saying that Utah's jerseys are better than these is fucking insane.
What up,
the
Cutter?
logo,
so good.
The logo is obviously way better. The design of these jerseys is not good. The tan is disgusting. I hate the arrow.
It's not tan. It is gold.
It's sand.
Same difference.
It's
it looks the same
gold.
exact way.
You see them up close. We saw them up close in Vegas. It was gold. It was glimmery gold, and it looked even better.
We're looking at a picture of them right now, but no one's going to look at them up close. Like, obviously, if you wear them, but when I'm watching them on TV, like, it just looks like a giant orange streak.
No,
I
those
don't
rock.
like.
And
I don't like the
I've
design.
been fully sold on the full orange color rush. I think it looks very good, and seeing Cutter Gauthier there wearing white sneakers makes me be like, yo, they should wear white skates. That would be fucking unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
White skates could be cool. I hate the fact that there is no gold on the pant stripes. Like, I hate the fact that the striping is not uniform, where they have the gold on the socks, the bottom of the jersey, the sleeve, and then they just do white and black on the pants. I don't like that. There's too much going on striping wise. And the orange is just like, I've always said, the colors are a bigger problem to me than the logos. Obviously, this is one of the best logos in hockey, so a good improvement. But I hate this color combination.
Sean, the problem is I'm in a position with the Ducks in their uniforms that they've made something so good here, in my view, that I feel crazy asking them to change anything about it, because they clearly know way more what they're doing than me. I'm not saying they know more than you, but as I look at this, yeah, when I see the sand, I always kind of grimace, because the sand and the whole Ducks thing just brings up a lot of images of them making bad decisions with their uniforms.
Yeah, they're not making it their entire personality anymore.
Also part of my point. If these jerseys just came out on a new team, I don't think the reception to them would be nearly as high.
Oh, they definitely would.
Because it's such an improvement, you're saying?
I think the fact that they had such dog shit jerseys before makes these look way better, make these hit way better for people.
I get what you're saying, but I also think that people are resistant to these jerseys because they know the Ducks have better as well.
Also true.
So I think those two things kind of even each other out.
But I don't, because I think I am in a very small minority of people who don't like these jerseys. And
you definitely are.
I don't not like these jerseys. Like, they're, like I said, a significant improvement. I just don't think they like I just like the Utah ones better. And also, the fact that they still have the webbed foot on the shoulder makes these look like AHL jerseys to me. Like, they look like affiliates to the Ducks because they still have that logo that they've had for the last decade or whatever
I
on the
do
shoulders.
that one. I'll kind of concede. Like let's
Just
phase
get
out,
rid of it.
Let's
Get
phase
rid of
out
it. It doesn't need to exist
the
anymore.
Webfoot logo.
100%
Yeah.
there.
Sean, I really respect you making an impassioned case here, because nothing that you were saying sounded like you were being a hater. It's something that you've thought about.
Yeah.
You came with your reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't agree with them. I still think that saying that these are worse than the Utah jerseys is just an abhorrent take.
Worst jerseys in the state of California.
That one is not unfathomable, because the Sharks and the Kings now both have
Like
incredible
Sharks
jerseys.
clear
as well.
on colors easily, and the Kings.
Well, the color thing is like it's a preference.
You're going to tell me that teal and black isn't better than sand? Anything with sand in it? I don't care if
Pete,
it's
we
gold.
get fucked once when our argument aligns itself with the pro sand. That's where
Yeah, but-
Sean
And you
can
know why
fuck
they
us
have
anytime he
sand?
But like
wants.
any color scheme can be better than another color scheme based on the way that it's used.
But they had to include sand because otherwise these are just Flyers
I
jerseys.
think certain color schemes are harder to work with,
Yeah, for sure.
and like some are like hard to fuck up. But I don't weigh into like these are better because they're better colors. You have to utilize the colors, and I think they utilize the color scheme here. Even though I don't love the sand, I think they utilize it extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't like say every opportunity I've had over the years, I've cried like a freaking baby about the sand on the jerseys, because a good Ducks jersey is such a precious thing. We've all been infinitely offended by the sand. However, their use of the black and white to have both sand and a burnt orange on a jersey shows some sophistication that, quite frankly, I didn't know they had in them.
I don't think it's sophisticated. I think we're not going back to the purple and teal for whatever reason, and we need another color, or else we have the same color scheme as the Flyers.
Well, they cooking showed it as well, where for whatever reason they felt some need to keep at least a little bit of the sand. So it was one of the ingredients maybe they had to use. So as you said, they're not just making a Flyers jersey, so there's still a little bit of connection to the past jerseys. This is such a small amount of sand that I don't even think you taste it.
It's a sprinkle of sand.
I don't think you taste it.
That's fair, I guess. It's just for all the reasons I have said.
We're going to land differently on this. That's okay.
Best logo in hockey, though. I'll give them that. Like, the logo is still amazing, even with the sand background and all that.
I'll even go to, this might sound ridiculous. I like this logo better than the original, which I know they're basically exactly the same. But
the original colors are better to me.
No, I know. Yeah, well, they're essentially the same, the logo.
Yeah.
But
I like the design
eyes,
updates that they made.
the
The design
Ooh.
updates that they made to the logo. Like this, much like the old Anaheim Ducks logo has an argument for being the best logo in all of sports.
Yeah.
Richard Head says, I miss the good old days when hockey jersey and sand were kept in separate sentences.
And also, you got to
Buddy,
understand.
the rants I've had.
You got to understand, I am a fan. I went to Syracuse. I am an orange guy through and through. I love the color orange. And I'm an Arizona Diamondbacks fan, who are also a team that utilized sand. Or they got rid of it, actually, this year because it was dog shit.
They went to sand
For
from
teal
and purple.
They did. And then they were like, you know what sucks? Sand. So they got the fuck rid of it. And they went back to teal.
The chat is beginning to say Jeremy Sandman, Sandy Crosby. It's important that we stop doing the episode now and that it ends, because we could have 3 hours of sand puns when
Take
truly
it to Discord.
sand is the worst part of hockey my last 20 years. That sand was on that jersey, and that's definitely not a take specific to me. Everybody was so offended by those jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy they have good jerseys. I love those.
Matt
Sean,
Sandy.
I love that. We got to stop. Sean, I love that you have your thoughts on it, and that at least the Utah jersey makes you very happy.
It does.
I like it a lot too.
And also, easy swap to just change those four letters to Yeti.
There, I think that
If you're making it your permanent jersey,
yeah.
Again, I would love for them to introduce some purple into the jersey.
What if they did? Because diagonal is very Rangers or Penguins.
But I think, like I said, I think it hits completely different because the letters are closer together and bigger.
the only reason I'm tolerating that is because it's temporary.
What if you did it like this? The like kind of, you know how when you highlight text in Photoshop or even going back to print shop, there was an option where it's like, do you want to make it wavy? Do you want to make it bulge a little bit? What if it was just like Yeti?
Clip art S jersey.
The best part, doing that with 4 letters is so funny because it would just be like YETI, and it would look like I eat. It would look like 2 weird words. Something to think about.
I think I want to see what the white ones look like. But another thing about the Anaheim jersey is like if I were for some reason were to end up with one, I'd want the white one over the orange.
Really?
One. Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's good news for us because I think we both definitely want the orange.
I think the white is ultimately going to be way more wearable. Like walking around in a giant bright orange sweater.
Sign me up, baby.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
We have exciting jersey content coming up, so stay tuned for that. Of course, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube, we again request you jump on there and just click subscribe. It is free. It costs you nothing, and it helps you get our content, and it puts our content in front of more people. So it's a win for everybody. Also, subscribe to the podcast places. Smash a 5-star thing if you care to do that. We don't really force people to do that, but if you like us and enjoy us, give us 5 stars. Thank you so much to Cody Ceci and to Bob Stauffer for joining us. This has been a wonderful morning we've had. Hope everybody has a great week. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
We all silly like the mayor.